So read one paper. That's the first thing they say. But my idea is you read one paper completely. With concern to articles, you can also go for other magazines. Like what I do is I read the Hindu regularly. I've been doing it for past 12 to 14 years. So matter. Apart from that, when I came to write this exam first, I just went through the ET, Economic Times. Their articles were good. My option was PubAd and Tamil literature. So regarding the PubAd part, I got many ideas from Economic Times. But what happened at last, I got many questions from the Economic Times in the GS. Whatever I read, that was helpful for me in GS, but not in PubAd. So you can never say what you are going to read. It may be helpful here or there. That all depends on you. How you are going to use the points that you have read. That's the thing. So what else I do? On net, I think all of you will be using the net, right? Wikipedia you can use, but mostly it should be like you can refer things, what is what, but always try to get articles. And one more thing is, my idea is always use net and get articles written by former bureaucrats or serving bureaucrats. So the thing is, you know how they think, first thing. You will have a different view. For example, whenever you see things from a student's view, you take everyone as innocent. Even I was like that. And only the government is at fault. But only when you see through their lens, you will get better ideas. So always go for those things. And make use of net in a better way. Again, Wikipedia will not help you at all the times. You can know what is what, but for opinions, always you should go for the articles. And moreover, many magazines are now available in the net. For example, Economist, I used to go through these things because it will give you some points. As of now, you have world history and world geography also there. Even they have some articles on those part too. Recently, there was an article on China. How China and Japan, the war started from 1930s. Why China, though being exploited by the British, why China has such a grudge on Japan? Those things were lucidly explained this week in The Economist. So you can make use of it. And notes, I think almost all of you will be making notes, right? Because nothing can be done without making notes. That's for sure. You can take anyone else's notes, but still it won't work out. You should make yours one because you will be writing once and you will be reading it again. So it will be a sort of revision. So when you make a note, you will be going through the same point for the third time. So that will be helpful. And okay, then you should always, whenever you read, again as I said, prelims is different, totally different ball game compared to mains. Because there you have only 4 options. You just click it, that's it. Here it's not like that. You can just express yourself in a better way to the examiner so that you can score more marks. So this is the thing. Whenever you learn anything, apart from studying for mains, just forget that part. Just you enjoy what you read. So whenever you learn something, you always just see the rationale behind it. Why things are happening in such a manner. Start from our subject, polity. What's the first part in polity?
Constitution.
Okay, first part in constitution, fine. After that?
State.
Union and its territory. The next one? After that? The next one? Okay, fundamental DPSP and fundamental duties, fine. So what's the rationale in arranging the things in this manner?
First there should be a nation, that's why union and states come first.
Okay.
It should have citizens, so citizens come second.
Okay.
If citizens are there, they need some rights, so fundamental rights. Then if there are all these 3 things, governance should be there. For proper governance, some guidance should be there, so DPSP comes next.
Okay, you're right. But in a different way, what I see is, it's basically, you should have a territory first, as it comes in political science. The first thing is territory. Then you go for the people. Then you give the set of rules to play the game. then your goal is DPSP. And after that, you go for the institutions, mechanisms that are available to reach that goal. So everything will be having a rationale like this. For example, take Article 19 in the same manner. So it says about freedom, various freedoms. So first is speech and expression. The next one, to assemble peaceably without freedom of assembly. Then association. Then you to go anywhere, movement, freedom of movement. So whenever you have a speech and expression, then only you can go for a assembly, because like-minded persons can form an assembly only through expression. So everything has a rationale behind it. Just try to understand those things. Though it may not be needed here, somewhere it will help you somewhere when you see things with a rationale, and you don't need have to mug up things. This will help you a lot. What else? And this time, okay, how did you do the prelims? Those who are given it, fine. How did you find it? Okay, just don't go with the cutoff, because I also gave the prelims, though I'm not going for write the mains, but still I don't go with the cutoff, because he always decides something else. You can never go with the cutoff. So the first time, this is my experience, first time I didn't clear my prelims, the first attempt. What happened was I got a cutoff of around, for 450 I got around 360 I suppose, and I didn't clear it. So I never go with the key. Okay, if you want to have a confidence level, then do it. So it was okay or not okay, that's it. Okay, fine. Right, what the specialty of this time is, you have very long duration. When is the exam, mains? No, it's December 1st. They have postponed it again. It's not 26th of October. It has been postponed to 1st December. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 days. So what's the specialty is, you have a lot of days compared to us. Because when I gave my first mains, it was around 3 months. Very short duration. Yeah. And the last time also the same thing happened. But this time you have a lot of time. So even if you're not yet started doing anything, even if you start now, it will be more than enough. And the other thing is, you don't have only one option, not 2 options. So you can more concentrate more on GS part. Though GS has almost all the subjects, still this will be you'll be looking things in a different manner compared to an option. When you go into an option, you will be studying the theory part also, but in GS you will not be having that. It's more of application, how you are going to do it. So better make use of the time. You have a lot of time. So again, as I said, it's more examiner psychology. How you are going to crack that. That's the matter. So what are the essentials needed in mains? That is, you should get ready to write the exam, right? So how to do it?
We need to be good at writing, presentations they should be there.
Yeah.
Logical arrangement of sentences should be there.
Okay.
Should be able to give proper introduction.
Okay.
Conclusion is positive, like close things is positive.
You give introduction for everything?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Depends on the question.
Okay.
That we need. Then speed we have to do. Handwriting should be legible.
Okay.
Time management should be there.
Okay. So you have already given an attempt, right?
No.
No? First fresher. Fine.
No, last time I wrote prelims, I didn't clear.
Okay. Fine. So here it's more prelims. Please come in. So it's all about 3 things: speed, accuracy, and quality. How fast you are, how accurate you are, and how qualified is your question answers. That's the thing. So for this, apart from the content what you are going to read, you need language and your vocabulary. More than language, vocabulary is more important. If it's going to be a word, you should use only that word. For example, the money value has been falling down. You can't write it in that manner. The money has becoming devalued. So those words should be used, because those words have real weightage there. This, even when this was told to me, I didn't take it seriously, but I was able to see it very much after giving the first mains, because those who wrote it, Aram say that was the score was not up to that mark. But when you use these words and you underline them, these are called as keywords, right? So when you use these keywords and underline them, this will carry a very good mark. Again, going with the examiner psychology, he will be correcting around 20 papers per day, and that person should be in 40 to 50, his age bracket, and he'll be traveling from his native or his place of residence to Delhi to give this exam. In such a manner, you can't expect him to be kind with your papers. So only you should be kind to him. So make his work simple. Not only for this GS, for everything. Things work out only like this. How clear you are, how lucid you are, at the end of the day, how simple you are. That's going to work out. So language is important, your vocabulary is important, and handwriting is important. Handwriting, even my handwriting is not up to that mark, should confess. But still, if someone sees it, they can understand. It will be up to that. At least that is needed. If it's going to be very illegible, then it will be difficult. Really, it will be difficult to have. And there are people who scored even with those things, but that's a very minor percentage. 1 or 2 guys, they score with a very bad handwriting, but still their content will be like that. So it's all about these 3 things. So you heard about feedback, right? Feedback mechanisms. So that's what works out here. One is your reading part, another is your writing part. So your feedback should be whatever you should write yourself, you just practice, and whatever you take from it, you should be able to correct yourself. Regarding content, it should be, again, you should go to the reading. And make use of library also, that's more important. Because whenever you go through a net, you could find the definition and meanings of the concept. When you go to an article, you can just get the ideas and opinions. But when you go through a book, you'll know everything, A to Z, in and out of it. So that will help you more. Again, you'll be reading it somewhere and something like that. That will help you out last, somewhere. I'll give you my example. Have you read this book, India After Gandhi? Anyone? Ramachandra Guha. So he'll be very lucidly, actually I recommend you to read this book for the new syllabus. It will be very helpful, because we see history as something only till attaining the independence. But actually after independence, what happened, he has given very lucid. It's not a book actually, it's an anthology. Just he has collected many articles and just summed it up into a single book, that's it. So in that book he'll be very clearly giving. We people in Tamil Nadu in general, in particular, we see like secularism is not an issue to us, but he'll be giving it very clearly why secularism is still an election plank in the India. So what's the history? Why so many problems are centered around the secularist issue itself, even after 60 years of independence. So he'll be outlining 3 issues. Like for the first one is Kashmir, and second one is Northeast, especially Nagaland, and the third one is the Naxals. So these 3 things, whenever India as a nation starts to roll out, the Juggernaut starts to roll out, it will be stopped by any of these things, each one time. It will be going like this. So the entire administration will be only concentrating on this, how to solve these problems. They will not be having enough time to look at the development agenda itself. So this has been always a problem. So I used to think it another way. In Tamil Nadu, we didn't have all these, any of these 3 problems. So that has been one of our, our plus, it's our strength. Actually, it's not even plus, it's our strength. So we never had such issues. There was no communal riots except for Coimbatore or for some instance in South Tamil Nadu. And the same with Naxal. Even it was there in Krishnagiri, it was routed out completely. And this thing, the other one, separatism, Ananduri himself gave it up after the Chinese war. This will not work out, he was very clear. So all these things were weeded out. So we had only development agenda in our mind. So things are like that. So whenever you read something, you will be able to, actually I made out this in my interview. So they asked me how Tamil Nadu is different from other states and how you are able to grow better than other states. So I just gave this example. So it's all about, actually I didn't read the book for that purpose, I just read it out of curiosity. Then maintain the limits, that's more important. time limit, page limit, and word limits. So if you are going to exceed the limits, it's not going to be of any use to anyone, first of all. The second thing, it will be a self-inflicting punishment on yourself. Because once you're going to spend more time on one answer, the next answer will automatically be trailing back. You can't help it. Some answers you'll be knowing it very well. But still, if you're going to spend time there, you're finished. Because I have seen this. Many of my friends used to do this. The first question will be for 15 marks. They'll be writing 3 or 4 pages. So automatically, it's like we used to have a limit. So every page 10 marks. So 30 pages, 300 marks. That's a simple thing for us when we used to prepare. So if you're going to, I'm going to write 4 pages. I have written 40 marks for a question of 15 marks. So there I have given 25 marks already. So if I'm going to compromise again the speed, accuracy and quality, all these 3 will take a beating. So whatever I know, that's the other part. I should conclude. Maybe there may be some exemptions. You can take certain limits, stretch certain limits, but not too much. That's the first thing. Other thing, always whenever you are writing, you have this limits, like try to, again it's 250 marks right now. For us it was previously it was 300. So what I do was, whenever I'm writing, I'll just see it. For the first half an hour, I should have completed 50 marks. So 50 marks in half an hour will fetch me into 300 marks in 3 hours. So that's the thing I was doing. So now you will be writing around 40 to 45 marks. Suppose 250 marks means it should be 40 to 45. Should try to complete that within the half an hour. And one more thing, you don't have stat now. They removed the statistics part. Actually, that's a boon if I'm concerned, but for someone else it will be a bane. It again depends on you. It will take a lot of time. But the thing is, you will be getting a full marks. Now it's not there. Actually, it's not needed for an officer, right? What's he going to do with the stat? So these things are important. And this thing you will not get it immediately. You should write practice again and again. And again the feedback. You should do it yourself. That will be better. So whenever you start writing a question, how will you start? So take any question. You see a question. What's the next step that you will do?
Question number.
Okay. After that.
Read the question.
No, after reading the question, what will you do?
First brainstorm, choose again the points.
Yeah. Okay.
Then rearrange it where you want to have, which is your strongest line.
Okay.
Put that in the first part of the answer.
Okay.
Then keep going.
Okay.
Introduction and the conclusion should be mixed. So,
Okay. My idea was, always when I read a question, it's like discuss, comment, whatever else it may be. First thing, I'll go for the conclusion. So this is what is my conclusion about this issue. So I need points for that. So then I'll start taking out points. And after taking out the points, I go for the intro. And I have never written an intro in my any of my attempts. Even for essay, I never wrote an intro. It's straight into the answer. But the thing is, the first point should be like an intro. So that's the matter. That's how you should write. That will help you a lot. So you should be different. Again, if he's going to correct 20 papers, I think you will be knowing these things. Suppose your paper is in the 6th and someone else, other paper is in 8th or 9th in the order with a person. That 8th or 9th person, if he has written better than you and if the invigilator, examiner has given you the full marks, he will give the full marks to that guy and will take your paper again and he will reduce the marks. This is the system. So it's just competing. Hard world. This is how the system is going on. So you have no other chance. So again, coming to the point, if you are going to write the answer, these things, so I told you again, 45 marks in 30 minutes. If you are going to do it like that, again, all these things should be done in the same time. So once you again and again practice, so you'll never need to think for a points. Only thing I'll do is I'll think for a conclusion, whether to take this side or that side. That's it. Then I'll straight go into the points. So the strong point or the weak point, that will be within you. You'll automatically get it. Once it will be spontaneous. You don't have to search for it. So the main part is writing. At least have a habit of writing half an hour to 1 hour every day. Actually, I never did these things in my first attempt, but I realized their values only in my second attempt. They were really useful. After some time, it just became a cakewalk. You know how to write and you know how to do it. That's it. See, mark scoring is completely different. That's not in your hands. UPSC has a set of rules for themselves. You can't do anything with it. Moderation, all those things. It may come or may not come, but you should have that satisfaction. At least GS is going to be on the first day. So after GS, you will be having options and other things also. At least you should have the tempo to maintain that. If it's not going to be there, and then it will be very difficult. So you will be, when you come out of your examination hall, you should be very happy. At least satisfied, not happy. So that's needed. Then again, many people draw diagrams, India map, all those things. Even I do that. I'm not saying anything against it. But always have a habit of doing it with your own pen. No need to go for a separate color or all those things. That will never fetch you any marks. Actually, even for literature, they used to many people. My second other option is literature. So many people used to write in two colors, dual colors. One is blue and other is black. I never had that habit. Even I don't have the habit of underlining things. Just put a strike in the pen. That's it. Still, I got the same score. It was not at all an issue because they will be seeing your presentation. They will not be seeing how you are going to beautify the paper. That's not needed. Okay. Then again, let's see what else. So another one thing I'll share it with you. You can write it either in paragraph or points, and for again I told you right now, right? For every page 10 marks. That was my limit. I have one friend. He used to complete a 20 mark in just 5 lines. Only 5 lines, and he got selected twice to interview. He didn't score well in interview, but still he got very good marks in GS and options. So he will not be completing his main paper. 18 papers he will not be able to complete, but still he used to get very good marks. So it's all about your stuff. It's nothing about all these things. Makeup and beautification, that doesn't carry any value. The point should always be sharp and short, and in the end crisp. And always call a spade a spade. You are not a politician. Like it may be, it may not be. All those things are not today. It is there. Many things. Our foreign policy may be wrong, but sometimes you should not get into a controversy. You may be having a personal opinion. You should not bring it in. That will drift the entire your mindset, your paper, everything will be off, out of your grounds. So once you go out, then it will be very difficult to enter into the stream again while writing the answers. So you should never go into a controversy, be it in the mains or the interview. So you should always avoid that. That's called as principle of anonymity. A bureaucrat never have to be, he should be anonymous. Should never have to be a public figure. So always avoid controversies. It's an important thing. So one more thing is, like, you should always, if you have some point, again it may be controversial. What I'm saying may be contradictory, but still you have a point to make there, but still you feel it's controversial. Try to give a subtle view of it. So actually, one of my I got this from one of my seminars. That guy told me, like, it's always better to write a point than to take it back home, because the currency is over. When the exam is over, the currency is over of that point. But what I used to do was somehow link that point. Some points I have been thinking very hard and got them. So I would not have used them on that day. For example, first on GS. So I'll try to sneak it in PubAd. And sometimes I did it in Tamil literature also, the same point. So it all depends on how you are going to use it. Optimum utilization of resources, that's going to matter. So these are the general points regarding how to write a paper. And you should be knowing these things, right? Like how to, first you plan an answer, then you should give it topics, and you should underline the keywords, and you should start on a question in a answer in a new page. That's important. And if you're going for a question number 1, you should finish that question completely, and then only you should go to the next question. And it's not necessary that you should be in the whole order. For example, you don't know the first question, many of the questions you don't know in 1. So you can go to the division 2. There you know at least 4 out of 5 questions, for example, again. So you can take it as first question and write the, after 2, you don't know the A. 2A you don't know. You can start with B, C, D and E. And A you can put it in the last. What I used to do was, if I don't know A, I just leave the space for it. So again, if it's going to be 20 marks, I'll just leave the 2 pages and go to the next question. So last I could fill it up. But you should fill it up. You should not leave it. It's there. This is how I used to work. But it's always better never to leave any questions. That will give you a good impression, especially in GS. But if you're not going to know anything, then don't fill it up. That will be giving a very bad impression. Actually, Arab Revolution, all those Arab Springs, the year before, previous year, yeah, it was asked there in 2 marks. Actually, they have asked for a athlete, I suppose, athlete or something. He was not completely unrelated to politics. Most of the people who don't know this, they wrote he is related to Arab Spring again. See, after some time, it will be testing the patience of the examiner. If you're going to make such things. So it should not be done. You should always try to take a calculated risk. Those words are very important. You may be knowing, but you are not sure. Then you can go for it. You don't know what at all. It sounds pakka Greek and Latin. Then you should not go for it. Just avoid it. And the other thing is, in GS, what people do, if you get a question from polity, most people give an answer only in the context of constitution, or for example, society. So don't do like that. If you can do it, just try to relate it to other aspects also. As you said, economy, history, geography, international relations, anything you can relate it. It all depends on you. He never told so. He never told that this is polity, first of all. He's not dividing it as such. And he never said that you should write it only in that manner. So cross linkages, as they are called, they are very important. That'll make your paper unique compared to others. So you'll get that extra 1 or 2 marks. And 1 or 2 marks means it's a huge difference when it comes to mains and interview. So even in this result, for every 1 mark, there was 10 people, ranks. For each mark, you will be going 10 ranks behind. So that's the importance of a mark. What else? Only you should ask. It's your time now.
So how to do the essays?
Essay, I will handle it separately, madam.
No, when should we read those essays?
Okay.
What kind of essay they used to answer?
Usually the essay will be of.
Because there is no idea for the essay.
Okay. Essay will handle it separately, but still, essay will be like, it will be a social issue. One will be a social issue, and the other will be something philosophical, something like that. And mostly nowadays, last time it was purely social, right? Women, and one was PPP, and another was Gandhigiri, something related to Gandhian thoughts. It has become more of social things. So essay writing it's not as tough as you think, because both times I got a better score in essay. It was around 120. Both times I got around 120. It was a very good score comparatively. So essay, you don't have to read anything separately. Just what you have to, you are going through everything. You should note how to sort out and bring the relevant points inside on the one hand, and how to bring the non-relevant points inside as relevant. So it depends on these 2 things.
So now added Indian heritage and culture mostly.
Actually, what the UPSC has done is they have just splitted one thing. They have given the syllabus in a more expanded way. That's it. So history and culture was already there, culture and heritage. They used to ask about the dance forms from Northeast, such questions. So it will be more detailed again. But still you don't have one option. So you have a lot of time.